The story begins with Hinagi telling MC that she was already in a relationship with someone else. MC had gathered all his courage to finally confess his feelings to Suzurikoa Hinagi, the girl he had admired since childhood. Standing before her with a firm expression, he told her that she had always been special to him. However, after being rejected, MC silently clenched his fist and walked away without saying another word, leaving Hinagi at a loss for how to respond. As he moved away, memories of their time together played in his mind. He had truly believed that their feelings were mutual. Now, hearing that she loved someone else, everything he had believed in started to fall apart. Overwhelmed by emotion, with tears falling down his face, he wished he could disappear from the world. The next scene shifts to Shoryu High School, Year 1, Class B. It was the first day of school, and time for student introductions. For MC, it felt like a significant moment. A girl named Sakura Kana introduced herself with a bright and cheerful attitude. MC observed her, thinking she seemed like the friendly type. As he waited for his turn, he debated internally on how to present himself to the class. Then, another girl named Shikaru Anya stood up and introduced herself by saying she liked insects. Her introduction was unusual, and MC thought she had a quiet and introverted presence. Still, he continued thinking about how to portray himself. Whether to blend in quietly or leave a strong impression. In the end, MC chose not to stand out. He decided to take on the role of someone average, quiet, unnoticeable, and distant. When it was finally his turn, he stood up and gave a brief, emotionless introduction. After thanking everyone, he added that he planned to quit school. The classroom fell into silence, surprised by his words. It was immediately clear that his attempt to go unnoticed had failed. Instead, he had drawn even more attention to himself. Still, MC did not seem surprised by the reaction. The teacher, addressing him by his last name, Kokonoi, asked for clarification. MC responded calmly, saying he was sorry for the strange introduction, but to him, the world felt unreasonable, and school seemed meaningless as a result. Though unsure how to respond, the teacher decided to move on. MC then continued. He shared his full name and said he intended to remain distant from others. He mentioned that he would often pretend to be asleep and preferred that others acted as if he wasn't there. He added that he wouldn't mind if people ignored him or even spoke poorly of him. None of it mattered, because he believed no one would try to get close to someone like him. The room remained silent, and MC believed his plan had worked, certain that no one would approach him. But then the teacher, Fujiro, broke the silence, advising him not to waste his high school life and even offering to support him if needed. MC thought she was being overly kind and declined, stating that high school wasn't the only thing he had wasted. Fujiro, taken aback by the bleakness of his words, told him to sit down while mentally noting that he would likely be a difficult student to handle. And when MC insisted that he was just being modest, it only made Fujiro laugh more, leaving him genuinely confused since he thought his introduction had been normal. Turning to his seatmate for confirmation, MC was met with a smirk and a comment that the school year would definitely be interesting with him around, before being asked to exchange contact information. MC was surprised at how casually his seatmate treated him and mistakenly called him Tanaka, only to be corrected. His actual name was Mahoki. Apologizing for not listening properly, MC was more confused by why someone like Mahoki would even talk to him. When he asked him directly, Mahoki replied that MC seemed more unique than gloomy and that he simply wanted to be friends. However, MC suspected there was more to it, assuming Mahoki intended to use him as an errand boy or someone to stand beside and make himself look better. Picking up on MC's wariness, Mahoki joked that MC looked like he was mentally cursing him, prompting MC to pull out money from his wallet and ask if giving cash was part of being friends, clearly unfamiliar with social norms. Mahoki, now visibly confused and slightly concerned, asked if MC had experienced something traumatic and told him to put his wallet away, which MC did, suddenly appearing very obedient. Despite thinking he was strange, Mahoki smiled and said he looked forward to being in his care, even asking if he was free after school. Just then, their lively classmate Sakurai Kana joined the conversation and suggested they all go to karaoke together, inviting MC as well. This unexpected invitation sent MC into a spiral of overthinking, interpreting it as a classic setup for classmates to bond. He viewed Sakurai, with her bright personality, as his natural rival and sarcastically referred to her as a queen, insisting on calling her Elizabeth, leaving her confused, since her name wasn't even close to that. When MC expressed disbelief at being invited, Sakurai explained that Mahoki had reassured everyone that MC wasn't weird. Looking at the group of classmates, some excited and others unsure, MC abruptly slammed his hands on the desk and apologized for not being able to join them, saying he already had other plans. Sakurai accepted his response kindly and called out that she hoped he'd come next time. As MC walked away, he thought to himself that he hadn't exactly lied. He did have to cook dinner for his mother, but at the same time, being around those girls felt somehow dangerous to him. He remembered Suzuriko Hinagi was already in a relationship, and he didn't want to be the reason for any trouble. Being around someone like Kamishiro Shuri, who seemed too innocent and always uncomfortable around him, felt wrong too. In fact, when he saw their names on the class list earlier, he had vowed to stay away from them altogether. But fate clearly had other plans, putting them all in the same class. Meanwhile, the rest of the class had fun at the karaoke bar and ended up discussing MC. Some were suspicious of him, thinking anyone who quits school on day one must be bad news. But Mio, who joined in, defended him, saying MC was just interesting. When asked how he knew MC, Mio revealed they had played basketball in middle school, though they were on opposite teams, and he doubted MC even remembered. Curious, Kamishiro Shuri asked Mio if he had ever played a match against MC back in middle school, and Mio confirmed it, though he was surprised that Kamishiro even knew about it. He then asked her if she knew why MC didn't show up at the tournament, but Kamishiro abruptly looked away and said she couldn't talk about it. Overhearing this, one of the girls asked if she and MC were good friends, but Kamishiro admitted the opposite. She was convinced MC hated her. Back in the summer of their second year, Kamishiro had developed a major interest in him. Their club wasn't that serious about practice, so most of the boys and girls just messed around, but MC caught her attention. He looked possessed, constantly shooting the ball with such intensity that it felt like he was either trying to prove something or forget something. His passion was contagious, and the club, which was usually lazy, suddenly had drive and ambition thanks to him. They could have gone far in the tournament. At the time, Kamishiro admired him deeply and thought he was amazing for being able to inspire others just by being himself. But he never cared for himself, so she took it upon herself to do that. Eventually, she realized she was falling for him, but being just a kid and emotionally immature, she wasn't honest about her feelings. Instead, she confessed despite being unsure and ended up betraying him in what she now sees as a disgusting way. Reflecting on it, Kamishiro believed she was the one who broke something inside MC. Then suddenly, she turned and looked straight into Hinagi's eyes, which made Hinagi immediately defensive. Hinagi stood up angrily, claiming she was hearing things and dared Kamishiro to repeat her story. Kamishiro wasn't backing down, and she demanded to know why Hinagi reacted so strongly, what exactly had happened between her and MC. The tense vibe in the room was impossible to ignore, and a couple of the girls sensed it turning into a showdown even though Kamashiro and Hinagi were supposed to be friends from the same middle school. Then Hinagi revealed that she was Kamashiro's childhood friend. Kamashiro, now furious, accused Hinagi of being the reason MC changed, and Hinagi admitted it with regret, only to snap back and ask what exactly Kamashiro had done to MC. As things escalated, Sakurai jumped in and pulled the two girls apart before it turned into a WWE cage match. She reminded everyone that they were supposed to be hanging out and getting along. The rest of the group, clearly uncomfortable, just forced smiles to hide their secondhand embarrassment. Soon after, Hinagi grabbed her bag and stormed out, saying she was leaving, and Kamashiro apologized for the drama before also excusing herself. Once they were gone, the group could finally breathe again, and to lighten the mood, they asked Kazunari to sing something, which he happily did. Myo, however, was still stunned and left thinking deeply about MC's mysterious past. That night, the MC found himself in the hot seat thanks to his unhinged introduction at school. His sister Yuri was furious, grilling him so intensely that he couldn't even enjoy his dinner. As he took a bite of his dry food, he couldn't help but suspect that someone was spying on him. After all, how else would Yuri know exactly what he said? Suddenly, she asked if he had embarrassed himself on purpose just to avoid Hinagi and Kamashiro. The MC sighed and claimed he had no comment, but one look at Yuri's death stare was enough to make him spill the truth. He figured she'd heard about Hinagi since she was his childhood friend, but he was shocked that she also knew about Kamashiro. Suddenly, the MC stood up, saying he had to study, clearly trying to escape the conversation. Sensing something was off, Yuri asked if he was okay, and though he insisted he was fine, he stormed off to his room. As he collapsed onto his bed, guilt gnawed at him. Had he been too harsh? Could it be that Yuri actually cared about him? No, that couldn't be. Yuri hated his guts, right? Meanwhile, downstairs, Yuri slammed her fist on the table, furious. Why was her brother always the one suffering? She had hoped he'd have a brighter high school life, but it seemed nothing had changed. To her, both Suzurikawa Hinagi and Kamashiro Shuri were useless little rats who didn't deserve to be near her brother, and she vowed never to forgive them. Based on the look in the MC's eyes, she was convinced he still hated her. He only spoke to her when necessary, and she knew this wasn't how siblings were supposed to act. But she couldn't blame him. After what she had done, it made sense. Ever since that one fateful day, he had never called her his sister again. Wrapping her arms around herself, Yuri accepted the painful truth that her brother might always hate her, but even so, she silently vowed to protect him from Kamashiro and Hinagi.